gotta kick off the show here.
We're agreeing.
Something cleaned up. Welcome to the Mafia cast. I'm your host, Papa Ron. We are here, brought to you, of course, by Buffalo Rumblings. Casey, Mike, joining me as always. What's going on, fellas?
Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah.
We made
Friday.
it. Thank God.
Worked late, but we're here, man.
TGIF. Yeah, today's my day off, and I feel like I work harder on my days off than I do at my day job.
From what it sounds like, you definitely do.
Yeah, well, I spent about, I don't know, six and a half hours over at my mother-in-law's pulling weeds, mowing yard, trimming, edging, the whole. It's a chore, but hey, I made it. I got in here like what, 4 minutes to spare.
Hey, man, that's all you need.
That's all you need. Just enough time to get signed in, right?
Hell yeah.
So we got to talk about last weekend. As a lot of you know, I was in Buffalo with my family. We got in there late Thursday night, got our Airbnb. Saturday, we got to hang out and actually meet each other face to face for the first time.
We did. I hear background noise. Sorry, I'm throwing off a little.
Yeah, I do too. But I don't hear it now.
I do as well.
I'm not playing.
Okay. All right, so
Mike, can you turn it off?
I don't have it on. I don't know.
Okay.
Something weird.
Are we good?
I don't know. I don't hear it right now.
All right, technical difficulties. This is great. Anyways, moving forward. Last weekend, the three of us finally got to meet face to face, and that was pretty cool. I got to say, we met up over at Wingnuts, the one of two. We went to the wrong one first, but that's okay. How was y'all's weekend? That Saturday leading up to, of course, the big Buffalo Rumblings beer reveal mega cast. The whole day was fantastic, but I want to hear from you guys what you thought.
Well, I'm pretty sure Mike and I established that Mrs. Paparon is definitely our favorite Paparon in the family.
That's okay.
No, but she came in a Raiders gear, but she was fun to hang out with.
And underneath that Raiders gear, she had a Bills shirt on, which was so cool. You did it good. You picked the winner, Paparon. She can stay. Even Ranch Boy. Ranch Boy, he was all right too.
But what I can say is anyone who's going to bring the whole family, and I'm talking, we sat down at Wingnuts, party at 12, and it was just me and Casey. The rest was Paparon and family. You drag your whole family across the country, watch Bills game, you're a diehard. So,
well, and that wasn't
this
all
guy almost had a whole starting 11.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that was not all of them. So one of my daughter's boyfriends, Brent, he couldn't make it. He plays baseball, college baseball, and then my daughter in Oklahoma, her and her family couldn't make it. So yeah, you bring us all together, we easy have an offense easily.
And a coordinator. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So it was a great time. If you missed the Buffalo Rumblings MegaCast, you can catch that on the Buffalo Rumblings channel on wherever you listen to your podcast from. Go take a listen to that. That was great. I got to say, for me, and I'll let you guys talk on it too, but for me, meeting Joe Miller, Jay Spence, you guys, LaShawn German, and I know there's others, Sarah, the whole crew was fantastic and almost surreal. That for me, I know all of these people, I know who they are. We were at the tailgate at the Mafia house, and they were inducting some women into the Poncho's Army. And I leaned over to my wife. I was like, I know every one of them, but I've never met any of them.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool for me. What did you guys think?
Just awesome to meet everyone. Like you said, we've been doing this, a little while now, but to actually to meet and hang out with everyone and get together for home opener weekend, man. And a real deal production there at Resurgence. So that was super cool. Spotlights on us, speakers going live to the whole place. So yeah,
Bill's
definitely a cool
Mafia staring you
experience.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just love that we were able to be a part of it and hang out and chat Bills.
Like Ronnie said, like it was putting like the faces to the names, like after however long, we've all been interacting online and stuff. And, you think people, you feel like these people, but you don't. Just like we didn't know each other really till this weekend. And then finally, it's just amazing. Like we're meeting all these new people, gaining friends and family just from like a football team, just from a stupid game that's played 21 weeks a year, once a week, 21 weeks a year. But we all love it. And Buffalo really is a city of good neighbors, but like the Bills is like this, like the team of good neighbors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm
Bills
laughing
Mafia's
because
family.
Your neighbors weren't your neighbors weren't great. No.
Oh yeah, you didn't we didn't hear any events from your last night. I don't know if we caught up, if you filled us in on anything.
I think you should definitely give everybody a recap as to how your guys' nights were when you were in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's funny that you say city of good neighbors. And then, Mike, you mentioned the Mafia. I'm pretty sure we were amongst the real Mafia throughout the weekend where we had our Airbnb. I don't know my way around Buffalo, so I can't say exactly the location where I was. But night one, we had no less than 24 gunshots in the area going off. It was wild. And then night two, we're all sitting there. We're playing games. And my daughter and her husband, they go out to the car to grab, whatever it is they're getting. And all of a sudden we hear this huge explosion. Like it rocked the house. You could feel it in your stomach. Like the concussion was real.
That's wild, man.
I legit felt like I was back in Iraq. Like I was like, what the hell is going on around here? One of our kids, our youngest, he's 15. He was out on the balcony just sitting, getting some fresh air. He actually saw the flash from the explosion. He comes running inside downstairs like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It was wild. It was absolutely crazy. We did consider getting out of there and for our third night and just getting a hotel, but
hey, I think everyone's just celebrating home opener weekend.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's what we said. We said it was just fireworks.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you guys are all safe. That was a super nice house, though. By the way,
that was beautiful.
The house was great,
beautiful.
Yeah, they did
gorgeous.
They did a really good job with Airbnb, upgrading it and updating stuff.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. But yeah, I don't think the neighborhood's all that great.
Well, nonetheless, you came to Buffalo and you got some great wings, got to meet some good people, and you got to see a W, which was the most important part of the weekend.
And someone also from Idaho scored a touchdown. Well, he went to college there.
Boise State, Khalil Shakir.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, the Idahoans were there for the game, and the Idahoan college kid was caught that touchdown. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
I do want to add in, so this is a little bit of my rant, I guess, when it comes to some Bills Mafia. I'm not going to generalize everybody because most of the Bills fans are fantastic people. They're great. And I don't even know if I told you guys this story. Maybe I did. I can't remember. But we were sitting there and we had nosebleeds. Like we were sitting with God, as Casey said. We were the second from the top row. So we're sitting there. We pretty much take up a whole bench, right, from one end to the other. And the row in front of us, about 5-6 people down, was this guy. Obviously, I don't know who he was. It's the first quarter. Buffalo lines up. I think it was a 4th and goal. I can't remember if it's first, 1 or 2 yard line, but they didn't go for it, right? Said they like to kick for the field goal, so it's 7-3. And this guy, and I can't repeat what he said because this is a family show. We are G-rated here. But he said some expletives, rips off his jersey, throws it onto the ground. He's got a Bills undershirt on. He takes it off and throws that to the ground. He yells some more expletives, saying he's done with the Bills. This team is terrible. And then there's some Raiders fans sitting in front of us, a couple rows in front of him. And he's like, hey, guys, y'all have an extra Raiders jersey or shirt I can wear? I am so done with it. I'm just going on this rant
man.
We all felt bad for his wife or girlfriend, whenever she was sitting next to him, because she was just sitting there, like, looking the other direction, completely silent. Everybody else is just sitting there looking away from him, like, don't make eye contact.
Yeah. Man,
I might have opened my mouth a couple of times in his direction. And then I thought, okay, my wife here is in the Raiders gear. I'm over here yelling at some other dude who's being an idiot. This probably isn't a good recipe.
Yeah.
So I let it go. But it's just, and we see some of that on social media too. I don't understand it.
Some of the stuff coming out has been very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Patriots fan, that is, I mean, scariest and worst case scenario. That
Oh yeah.
That is not what this sport and what being a fan of a team is about at all. You know, it's disgusting how, like, adults are acting, full grown men. You know, I understand getting in a heated argument, but there's never a reason over a football game, any sport, to put your hands on somebody else. I mean, that is, I mean, purely, I mean, crosses the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And that guy wasn't the only evildoer. There was a couple of other guys that they were kind of spaced apart from a little bit, but they were both Bills fans, like yelling at each other. One was yelling at the other because he wasn't standing up during the game. Like, he was calling him a bandwagon, calling him a bunch of names, giving him the finger because he wasn't standing when the offense was on the field. He wasn't, like, and I've been to a game, so I knew nobody sits. That's just how it is. Clearly, this guy wanted to sit down. I don't care. You want to sit down? Sit. Whatever. But somebody else took offense to it, and he was like, they're like yelling back and forth. I was like, this is ridiculous. Over sitting down on the bench or not. Like,
that is.
Yeah.
So other than that,
alcohol,
that kind of stuff, we had a great,
stay away from it.
Yeah, we had a great weekend though. Other than that kind of stuff.
Yes, the weekend was fantastic. We met up afterwards, tried to get some wings. Barfield's was cram packed.
That was a failure.
We saw Spence again there. Were able to say bye to him before we left town. You know?
Yeah, Spence the King was there again. I do want to throw this in there for our listeners and viewers, like, being a part of that mega cast and meeting everybody face to face, you guys, then the rest of the Buffalo Rumblings crew. I do want to start doing a little bit more crossover shows, like bring on some of those other guys like Jeremiah and Joe Miller onto our show, and maybe vice versa. So,
for sure.
Going forward, we do hope to kind of incorporate a little bit of that because, I mean, the Buffalo Rumblings people, they know what they're talking about. They know football. They know the Bills. And they've been doing this for a long time, and they're great people. So we want to start, kind of bringing them in. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
We're like another family inside the Bills Mafia family.
Well, I think Ronnie just wants people here that actually know what they're talking about and aren't just here for their looks.
Yeah. So you guys are.
Well, that's not me either. Maybe the two of you, but
I don't know about that one.
All right, so let's get to the game, though. What did you guys think about the game?
I mean, after the first drive, I looked Mike dead in the eye. Go, well, I took under 18.5 points. That's not looking too hot. And by the end of the game, it was looking real hot. But it went how it needed to go for, like, Bills Mafia's, like, mental state of mind. It needed to be a clean, crisp game. I mean, there was nothing. The exciting plays happened on defense. They weren't the giant bombs to Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. It was the longest pass was Josh's, dump over to Gabe that he ran for 40 yards. But there was nothing, no high air yard passes. There was no huge monster runs. Josh tried to leap a couple of times. They got smacked. But the defense, played great. They're like it to me. It's like a snake. It just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, like, as the game goes on. Like, they just take away the tendency, and they make the offense do what they don't want to do. They held Josh Jacobs to -2 rushing yards. That's I don't care what running back it is. That's crazy. That's nuts.
That was awesome.
To have the 3 turnovers, it was exactly how it needed to go for Bills Mafia to all calm down after that collapse of week 1.
Yeah. It's definitely a little concerning. I'll go ahead, Ron.
No, go ahead.
In the beginning, just how we struggled. We couldn't move the ball first drive or two, and Raiders quick up 7-0. So that right there, I was like, oh man. But hey, we pulled it together, and like Casey was just saying, we really did our thing out there. So yeah, we needed that one.
Yeah,
Matt Milano, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I just want to add, because you mentioned, last week, or not last week, but week 1's game. And I know it looked not great, but in reality, if Allen doesn't make those silly mistakes that he did, we run away with that game. I honestly believe that, because I don't feel like that this team was really struggling necessarily to move the ball. Just he made some really questionable decisions that led to turnovers. That doesn't happen. I don't think that game is that close.
No.
But and I caught a little bit of heat on that during the Buffalo Rumblings Megacast on Saturday and even since then, or before then, sorry, about Breece Hall's 83-yard run. I know it happened. I get that. And yes, it counts towards fantasy football. I understand that. But he had 102, 103 yards on 2 carries, and then like 20-something on the next 8 carries. So to me, you remove that 183-yard game, Buffalo held even Breece Hall and the Jets offense to under 4 yards per carry, and then we see what they did against the Raiders. I personally am not concerned about the run defense. So
no.
as far as the run defense, Mike, what do you think on that? You just said no, but elaborate.
I'm not too concerned, because like you said, we were just a couple stops away from that, just negating that. If we could have just stopped those couple plays, the Breece Hall runs. I'd like to just say I'm less concerned than I was going into this year, because Bernard looks like, I feel like he's making slight improvements. He's going to work into that role, and it's just going to work out.
He played well enough to get somebody to retire. I mean, I think that's why Kirksey retired. I think Bernard's playing so well that they're like, all right, if this is like the base that Bernard plays, that's fine. That's good, basically good enough to where they don't have to invest anymore and try to work the roster in order to fit Kirksey onto it if they did want to, just elevate him for a game and then sign him to the active 53. I think Kirksey was like, I don't feel like trying to try out for a whole nother team and go through this process all over again, so I think it's more of a kudos to Bernard than it really is, Kirksey being like, screw this, I'm done.
Right.
Yeah. I do agree to an extent, but I also question, why wouldn't Kirksey just want to collect a paycheck? Like, even if he's a backup not playing much, like, great, I'll sit the bench for a few $1 million.
Yeah, but he's not getting a few million. He wasn't getting a few $1 million. I mean, but like, I understand what you mean. But also, he's played in the NFL for 9 seasons. He's made his money, So if he's going to get another $500,000 before taxes, whatever he would have gotten this year, like to him, I mean that's just not. I get that not being worth like all the like wear and tear your body's going to go through, even being just on the practice squad. He's old like you, Pop. Come on.
Hey,
he's like 30. He's like 30.
Yeah. I wish I was that old, 30. I'd be right between the two of you.
I'm creeping up.
What else from this game kind of stood out for you guys, Casey?
James Cook can run between the tackles, and he's really, really fast in person. Like it, like just like the speed that it seemed effortless for him to like get to and around the corner, the edge of the line, and people. It was like once he got in that open field, if somebody didn't have nobody's going to catch him from behind. People better be coming from the side to catch him. He just hasn't had the opportunity to break that 70-yard run yet. But I mean, you can see one or two of those is coming pretty soon, in my opinion. So for me, I mean, it's James Cook and just the efficiency of the run game as a whole.
He almost broke one at the end of the game.
Go Latavius Murray.
Yeah, that was sweet. So you mentioned the running game, so it makes me think of our line. Kudos to Spencer Brown.
Yes.
Played a solid game. So in our line as a whole, you're not going to have those runs without them guys doing the job in the trenches. So good job there. But what really stuck out to me is just the difference from last week. Josh was hell bent on getting that long ball against the Jets, and we totally just out the window with that, and we were just gaining 5 yards here, 10 yards there, and that was great. I loved it. So
that offense looked like a Tom Brady offense. It looked like the 5 yards every single time.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah,
motions,
different formations, bunches, people running back forth, changing sides. Really, really kind of kept them guessing a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game plan, well executed. You mentioned Tom Brady; he won 7 Super Bowls doing just that. So I do hope that going forward, this is the recipe that we see. Is it as exciting? No, but 38 points sure as hell is.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody in the league can beat the Bills if they put up 35 plus points a game. Like no one.
I think 30. I mean, if the Bills put up 30 points every game from here on out, they might lose 2 games, maybe 2 games, and that's because we have the Eagles and the Chiefs on the docket. I'm not going to count either of those teams out, and Miami twice. I mean, they have an electric offense, and there's not a defender in the league that can keep up with Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is true. I wanted to touch really quick on what Roy Collins said. Still waiting for Sherfield to get his first catch. I think we might see a little more 11 personnel this weekend because of Dawson Knox. If you don't know, he has not practiced yet this week.
He did
not
today.
Sure what did he? A full participant?
Everybody was full today, except for James Cook, who had a baby yesterday. Congratulations, James Cook.
And Trey White was
on James. Get your priorities together. I'm kidding.
Congrats,
everybody.
James Cook.
Okay, so maybe we'll see more, the 12% like we've been seeing. And it looks like Casey's screen is frozen. Oh, there he goes.
I was reading something. Sorry.
Oh. Okay, that's good.
Asker.
So as far as Sherfield, as long as they stay in this 12 as much as they are, I didn't see what exact numbers were. I believe week 1 there was like close to 50% they were in 12. If you don't know what 12 personnel is, that's basically 2 tight ends on the field. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, running back. Let's talk about really quick Kincaid. Like, I'm wearing a jersey. I picked this up at the Buffalo store at the stadium, so super excited about that one. He is on pace for, I think it's 76, 77 receptions, which would be second all time for rookie tight ends. That's crazy. But the yardage, that's the only thing. The yardage needs to come up. I think he has like 70 yards total. But I think the Bills struck big with him. And Osiris Torrance. He's been fantastic too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think he's made more of an impact on this offense than Kincaid has. Bigo has played very well. I mean, very, very well. The line as a whole has, but Spencer Brown doesn't not give up a sack last week to Max Crosby without that help of Osiris Torrance being next to him. A good guard. Kincaid, I think I won't be surprised if he doesn't, come inside, like get that record, just because there are so many mouths to feed around here. Mm-hmm. If he does, if he does at the same time, I won't be shocked because he was asked to be that short yardage, get open at 5 yards, and then be the yak guy because he's so big and so good after the catch. I think that's like kind of what he's going to be, is that 5 for 45 to 60 yards and hopefully a touchdown. But like those catches are all, I feel, going to be like the key moment catches.
Yeah, like I don't care about getting all them yards, but there when we need them.
Just keep moving the chains. And I wanted to see how many first downs he's converted with those receptions. I believe he's got 10 receptions on the season, or 9 receptions out of 10 targets. So he's been great in that respect. In case you're wondering, the NFL record for rookie tight end is like I think it's 101, 100 something receptions by Mike Ditka. So
Let's say it was
nobody's
like by
touching that.
Ditka.
Yeah, that's not going to be touched by anybody anytime soon, like ever.
No.
We do have a special request in here in the comments. I do want to go and throw this up. This is from the Mafia Babes, hosting a watch party at the Blackthorn at 2134 Seneca Street this Sunday for the Commanders game in support of Hannah. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Copesel. Hannah Strong and Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. If you could please mention it. So we're doing that. Yeah, if you get a chance to go check that out, that would be cool. Sorry, it's not the Mafia Babes. It's just the Bills Babes. But yeah, do that. And I am familiar with this individual because I've seen a lot of the stuff on social media about her. So it's a super cool thing to take a part of. Yeah,
we love spreading the love, highlighting everyone's causes. So go check them out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's move on from the game. There's so much we could talk about with this game, but we are going to take. Oh, I want to mention one more thing. I know it's just 2 games. There's 2 things that have impressed me so far that kind of stand out. One, Gabe Davis, no drops.
Yeah.
0. I know it's 2 games, but still 0 drops. The other part is, a lot of people probably don't know this. The Bills are currently 3rd in the league in yards after the catch.
Really?
Yeah. And they're only like 10 yards away from 1st. So it's really cool because these are 2 things that everybody's talked about in the past with the Bills. They can't catch, and they can't get yak yards. But those 2 things are happening, and I think that's huge for this season going forward. I'm not going to say where they could take them until we get there. It's 1 week at a time. We're going to leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, at that, let's move on to Mike's super smart stat that's not taking it 1 week at a time.
No,
it is not. Go for it. What do you got?
I'll try to make it quick too, because I know we got a few topics here. So a little stat I kind of came across, and I haven't dug too much into it, but it seems to be true to me, and that's that every Super Bowl winning team since the beginning has had at least 23 takeaways in the season. So it's something I want to track. I really started thinking about it week 1 because I was like, I was looking for a bright spot, even though we didn't get any. Well, we had 1 takeaway, I think, right? Week 1, yeah. But it wasn't looking good after that. But I stumbled upon this stat, and now we're kind of right back on pace too. So I'm feeling a lot better about it. But every Super Bowl winning team has had at least 23 takeaways. We're at 4 right now, looking pretty good. But there's several teams above us. Dallas got 7 takeaways already. Philly at 6, Philly's got Philly at 6, Jacksonville, and then it goes Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Tampa Bay. They're all ahead of us. So it's just something I wanted to follow. Maybe it keeps me humble, keeps me at bay from getting my hopes up if we're not meeting that mark. But as of right now, we need like just under 1.5 per game. So we're looking pretty good right now. So it's something I'm looking for.
And I would be curious to know what the over under on the turnover ratio, plus minus what for the teams.
That's what I said.
The difference.
That's what I said.
So definitely something I might be digging more into in the upcoming weeks and throughout the season. So we can look out for that. But yeah, just a little tidbit I wanted to add in there. Something interesting we could watch out for this year.
Yeah. And one other thing too, one other cool stat, Buffalo is the only team in the league in the top 5, both offense and defense. Again, it's 2 weeks. So
let's keep it rolling.
I didn't have a banner for Ronnie's super smart stat. Come on.
And calling me super smart is giving me way too much credit. So.
All right, let's go ahead and move forward. We're already half an hour into this, and we've still got a few more things to get into. However, one of them I think might be pretty quick. But before we get to that one, 3 contenders, 3 pretenders. Are we talking AFC only?
All NFL.
The whole league.
All NFL.
Right? Yes, sir.
The whole league. Oh,
correct.
Man.
Michael, how about you go first?
I don't want to go first, but I will.
Okay.
The contenders is probably harder for me. We know who's at the top for the most part, and you want to. We're saying the top 3 contenders in the league, right?
And contenders, the way I took it was contending for the playoffs. Like that teams that I consider at this point, I think can make the playoffs as a wild card or winning their division.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna take off the top of my power rankings. I'm just gonna take those three, just to make this easy because I know we got a lot to get into. So I have San Francisco at the top, and then Dallas and Miami. Dallas kind of hard to say with the recent the injury, but I haven't lost hope on them quite yet. Obviously, Miami, like you said, their offense just electric. Hard to count them out. So those few teams, they are the real deal. We're playing Dallas later this year, so that'll be a cool matchup to look out for. As
Next
far as
yeah.
Now, do you want to do contenders and then go through for pretenders, or do you want to just go
through? Give us all six.
All right. So my first pretender is Cincinnati, and it's solely on the fact that they are pretending that Joe Burrow is healthy. And now they're sort of digging their hole there. It's like you really sit them out, especially when you're falling behind like this. They gotta, I don't know. It's going to be a long season for him. I think, hopefully he can stay healthy. I like playing against healthy teams to say we beat someone real, but yeah, I'd say they're number one as the pretender because they're pretending like it's not an issue. I think that guy needs some rest and rehab with that calf. But who knows if the season's going to be lost if you don't have him right from the jump. Second, I have New Orleans just because they're power ranked 10th right now on ESPN, but they weren't on my radar at all. So that's just sort of a personal dig at the NFL power rankings, I guess. And then the final one, I saved this one for last because it's the most fun. This team ended up in my top 10 power rankings, but I was kind of set off a little bit about this from this past weekend. All these Raiders fans in here waving their flags around early in the game. Quit pretending you're better than us. Quit it. You guys never had that game, even though you scored first. You guys aren't as good as you think you are. And the crap talking, the Bills, we were chill all day, and you guys just kept digging at us. So you deserve that L. Quit playing.
I love it, Mike. Get him.
Yeah.
All right, what you got, Casey?
All right. So my contenders. So like I said, I did it I avoided like the top heavy, the hot top heavy ones, and went more like on the risky side. And I did Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is very good. I really do. I think their defense is starting to come together. Trevor Lawrence is really finding his own. He's now got Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. Somehow Zay Jones is good at football now. Like I think that they have, and I think they have a very good team. Then I have Green Bay. I think Jordan Love is kind of surprising us all. But again, he has Kyle Shanahan at quarterback, at coach, and that defense is always going to be real as long as it has Jair Alexander at corner. And then my wife is going to be very proud of me for saying this, but I think Washington has a real shot at making a wild card.
Okay.
Their defensive line is good. I like Cameron Curl. I like Cameron Curl. I like the rookie corner. Now I'm losing his name now. Sam Howell. I told my wife last show, I think he's good. I watched him play last year. I've seen him play this year. I think he has the potential. Getting him Eric Bieniemy was the best thing the Washington Commanders could have done for him. They have offensive weapons all over the place with Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel's there. I think that they have the potential to be good and make a wild card. I don't think they're going to push the Eagles or Dallas for the division. But then my pretenders is the entire NFC South because there's 3 teams at 2-0, and that's New Orleans, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay. And I don't think a single one of those teams get into the playoffs without going like 7-9 and winning their division.
That's rough.
I was going to say somebody has to win the division and make the playoffs. So who do you think that's going to be?
I think it's going to be New Orleans. I think they have the best quarterback and they have the best defense. And they have Chris Olave. Eventually, they'll have Alvin Kamara. They already have Jamal Williams at running back. The best, jack of all trades guy, Taysom Hill. So I think somehow New Orleans, well, not somehow, I think they're just going to scrape through it and get into the playoffs.
Okay. So who are your pretenders?
I just gave you my pretenders.
Oh,
all three. All three.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to kind of go with the risky side as well. First of all, I'm going to, and I apologize now, but the Washington Commanders, that's a no for me. One, I need to see more from Sam Howell. Yeah, he's played well for through 2 weeks. Yes, that defensive front might be the best defensive front four in the football, but that kind of stops there. Like, they've got some weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but I feel like they're still kind of learning Bieniemy's system. Howell is still growing, still developing. I think this team is on the right path, but I don't see 3 teams out of the NFC East making the playoffs. I just don't. Dallas and Philadelphia, to me, are locks for the playoffs. Which one of those 2 wins that division is beyond me. I'm not even going to sit here and try to pretend like I know. Yeah. So for me, Washington makes that pretenders list. We'll stick with the NFC side. Atlanta, Saints, Buccaneers, they are definitely a pretender. I know they're 2-0, but they're 2-0 with Baker Mayfield. There's just no way this team is going to continue winning with him at the helm all season long. Yes, he can pull out some wins here and there, but again, I don't see it. And, oh my gosh, a third pretender. I'm going to have to go Green Bay, I think, because of Jordan Love. Again, it's another quarterback, and this is a quarterback-driven league. He just hasn't shown me enough yet. Is he playing okay? Okay. But in this league, you need more than just a game manager to be successful and to get anywhere.
Tell that to the 49ers. Tell that to Kyle. Tell that to Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some examples in the past. He did not win a Super Bowl, though. Just saying that.
I'm talking about Brock. Brock Purdy is the definition of a game manager, and he is 10-0.
No, I think the Purdy's more to that. That's another discussion, though. But for the contenders, who?
See, you can
like
cop out, or you can
be
interesting like me.
I do like Jacksonville, and especially with that division that they play in. I don't see any way that they lose that division, honestly. The Colts have actually played better than I expected them to be honest. However, they don't have enough to compete. The Titans, they have no quarterback. They'd be better off with me throwing passes back there. And then, I mean, Texans. I think Texans are heading in the right direction as well. But they've still got a long ways to go in their year 1 rebuild. Jets are a definite pretender.
Well, yes.
Now, yes. If not for the injury, maybe we'll be talking differently. But, I think that's all I've got for right now, because with only 2 games in, we don't have a lot to go off of.
Hard.
Like the Rams.
Right.
The Rams looked good last week. They were terrible in week 1. Seattle, they've got some good players.
Chargers look amazing except for their defense.
Everyone's kind of still getting their feet under them at this point.
Yeah.
Remember when J.C. Jackson was good at football? Like, that was a long time. That was like 2 years ago, but that feels like it was 10. I mean, he gets cooked by receivers now.
Yeah. Can we just say, as far as the Chargers are concerned, I think it's kind of funny that, number one, I think it's odd that Staley even has a job still. Personally, would have fired him last season.
Yeah.
His coaching decisions in game have cost his team games multiple times. The other part is they fire the OC, they go out and they bring in Kellen Moore. The offense isn't the problem, though. That defense has not been able to stop anybody for 3 years now. They look like a JV squad out there. So, that's my.
But they have all the pieces. they have Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, J.C. Jackson. Oh my gosh, the Asante Samuel Jr. They have Eric Kendricks at linebacker, Derwin James, the best safety in football, but they give up up 35 points a game. Like, I don't understand. Like, we literally would be better coaches than them, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Not me. You guys.
I don't know, man. You can learn a lot from Madden.
True.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on after that one.
All right.
Let's get to this. Okay, I'm just going to put this out here right now. This is the section I think is going to go kind of fast because I am not ready for this. I do not have a top 10, but I will critique y'all's. So we'll start with you. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Casey, go.
All right. So for my top 10, I have San Fran, Philly, Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo, KC, Miami, Jacksonville, Green Bay.
Is that 12?
Nope, I used my fingers.
Okay.
Say the top 5 again.
San Fran, Philly, Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo.
Okay.
I have all those teams in my top 5 but one.
All right, what's yours?
Can you guess what team is not in the top 5?
Baltimore.
No, I put us at number 6. I put the Bills at number 6.
Oh, okay.
I put Miami above us. I have San Francisco. Well, yeah, I have Miami, I have Baltimore, and Philly above us. So I have San Francisco 1, then Dallas, Miami, Philly, Baltimore, then Buffalo.
Okay.
What's it?
You know, with these power rankings, especially this early in the season, it is hard because I know that Buffalo kind of laid a sneaker in week 1. But knowing the team the way that we do, and there was the Raiders, so it's not like they beat up on the Cowboys or the Dolphins or whoever. But I do feel like from what we've seen so far in the field, Buffalo is one of the more complete teams in the league. I would put Philadelphia, probably San Francisco up there as well as more complete teams. I just can't get behind Miami right now. Yes, they're 2-0. If I did a power rankings top 10, honestly, I would probably at this point put the Dolphins ahead of Buffalo, but I'm not sold on their defense still, and
Right.
I don't think they have a defense to compete all the way through to the end. Whereas I think Buffalo does. I think San Francisco does. Obviously, Dallas does. In fact, Dallas, they are number 1 in the league in points scored and points allowed. However, for yardage, their offense is ranked, I think, like 13, 14, somewhere around there, which is interesting that they're so low on that list, yet their points. But I think their defense scored some of those. So,
well, it also helps. Excuse me. Their defense is causing turnovers, and the offense getting shorter fields.
Right. True.
So that that's going to hurt the offensive numbers a little bit. So everything's always going to be like a give and take. But yeah, I mean, they put up 30 some odd points a game. Like even if the defense puts up 7, darn, we still put up 23 points.
Right.
As an offense.
When it comes to Buffalo, I think the only thing that really kind of stands out to me that might be a little concerning for me at this point, we as a team, we only have 3 sacks.
Yes.
So that's a little surprising to me. I think that I would have expected maybe even 5 or 6 at this point. But we didn't have a show after the Bills week 1 game. So I'm kind of jump back to that just briefly. And I want to talk about a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think the Jets kind of lucked out a little bit, not long term, obviously, but in that game, because Zach Wilson is far more athletic than a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and Buffalo was absolutely getting after Aaron Rodgers. He had 4 dropbacks and was pressured on every single one of them, and one of which ended up in a sack. They got pressure on Wilson, but he's athletic enough to get out of those. So I think had Rodgers stayed in that game, I think we would have got to him a few more times.
See, here's where I'll contradict you on that. Where we just played Jimmy G, who's a freaking statue in the pocket, and we couldn't get to him. So that it shows that there's an actual somewhat of an issue there.
So are you concerned about that going forward, or just until maybe when, because the pressure is getting there, the guys are getting there. I feel like the turnovers that they forced on Sunday, which I'm going to toot my horn on the MegaCast, I specifically said shut down Josh Jacobs and Garoppolo will give you some, and he did just that. It's exactly what the Bills did. But those pressures did turn into turnovers. So personally, I would rather have that than the sacks.
True. because turnovers lead to
But
points.
we're also not going to be playing. But we're also not going to be playing quarterbacks as bad as Jimmy G coming out pretty soon. You know, Patrick Mahomes is pretty good against the pressure. You know, Dak Prescott is wishy washy, but I would rather have the sacks. I would rather have the consistency of the sacks, and we can't go through another season with 32, 36 sacks in a season while having Leonard Floyd and Groot and AJ Epinesa and Von Miller and Daquan Jones, Poona Ford, Ed Oliver. For as much we're all like, look at Ed Oliver and all these guys playing well. They're getting tackles for loss. Yes, fantastic. I mean, that's as good as a sack on a run play, but we're still not getting the sacks at all. It's like we still have Jerry Hughes back here. He was the king of pressure, but only got you 6 sacks in the season. I think Bills Mafia is kind of tired of that. We want the end result at this point, which is why we brought Von in to finish the job and actually get that sack number. But I don't want to have to rely on Von Miller coming off his second ACL tear and in the 5th week of the season.
Yeah. I agree on that. And if you look at the PFF numbers for that front, for our defensive front, they're actually pretty good. Like Ed Oliver is having a terrific season. So far, the best of his career. Long ways to go still, but Greg Rousseau, he's getting in there. He's getting pressure. So it'll be interesting to see how things are going forward. And then, of course, when Von Miller comes back, I anticipate the sack numbers to go up. Obviously once he returns. But all right, so that's the contenders, pretenders. We kind of digress a little bit, but we talked about the power rankings. So Washington versus Buffalo. That's the game this week. Washington is 2-0, but before we move forward, that's against Denver and against the Cardinals. Quite possibly the 2 worst teams in the league. Both of those games, Washington barely won. One of them they had to come back to win, and then almost gave it away again against the Broncos. But so, what do you guys think about the I almost said the Washington other team, the Commanders? What do you guys think of them? You mentioned you think they're a contender. So, what do you think about this game coming up?
I think it's gonna be close in the beginning, through the first quarter and a half. It's gonna be tight. I don't think it's gonna be very pretty. It's not gonna be as pretty as it was this past week. I feel like Josh is gonna get a little dirty. But I still think, like you said, they have good defensive pieces along the front line. I like Cameron Curl, their rookie corner. I like him. I don't think he's going to lock anybody down yet, especially someone like Stephon Diggs. I would expect this game to be. I don't want to give away my score prediction yet, but I think the Bills are going to win it, and it won't look as close as the score. It won't feel as close as the score is going to be.
All right. What do you think, Mike? What concerns you with this game? Outside of, I think everybody's a little bit worried about the defensive front of the Commanders, but outside of that,
I can't really say anything's really sticking out to me that would concern me about Washington. I just hope we don't self-destruct with penalties, making mistakes, bad decisions. I hope we're not doing this, week 1. And then, complete opposite week 2. I hope we don't do this bounce back and forth thing unless we, get some consistency right when we need it end of the year. But nothing really stands out about them. They just don't have the offense that we do. I think Scary Terry, he's not even top 50 maybe in yards right now for receivers. So just little things like that makes me think that we are not going to really struggle this game too much.
Yeah, I think it'll be somewhat of a low-scoring game. I do think Buffalo will get theirs because they've got a great pass rush. But if Buffalo comes out and does what they did last week with the short game, that front four is not going to have enough time. They're just not. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to see is more of the same from that game. But I'm with you as far as I don't want to see the back and forth, 1 week this, 1 week that.
Right.
You know, Steve Tasker in One Bills Live said it perfectly. The only team in the NFL that can beat the Bills is the Bills. Like, that's hands
And
down.
I wouldn't even put it that far. The only the only team that can beat the Bills is literally only Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Josh Allen is the only person that can beat the Bills.
So this is a good question here. How much success can Cook have running between the tackles of Washington? Those two defensive tackles in Washington might be the best duo in football.
Deron Payne and Josh Allen. Oh my God, yeah.
So I would expect more of the outside game on this one. I do hope to see some of those screens to the wide receivers. This team they've just haven't been a great screen team in years past. We've seen a little bit more this year, but I do think they can get them with the wide receiver screens. Get the ball outside to Hardy, Diggs. That play that we saw last week with Diggs in the backfield, and then he dumped it off. That was basically a screen. That was fantastic. That was a great play call.
It was.
So, you know, I want to see more of that, and I think we might, because that's a great way to kind of neutralize a dominant pass rush, which I think we're going to see from Washington.
All right.
Spence says we shouldn't be running Cook between the tackles. Depends on the opponent. It really does, and I think this is not the week to do it. But maybe the other two guys.
I don't think it's a week to run anybody between the tackles. You know, this is going to be a week to where I feel like we win this game running to the outside, quick crossing routes coming on the inside from the receivers, and like you said, then the screen game. I'd like to see Kincaid get a screen. You know, we've seen Gilliam get screens in the past and Knox get screens in the past. I would love to see Kincaid get a screen this week.
Yeah. I want to say with Kincaid, he reminds me a lot of Dawson Knox when he catches the ball. He catches it, turns the field, and he's looking to pulverize someone.
Yeah.
Like
dude,
that mentality is the same.
That's
a lot of
so
fun.
He took a lick in the end zone right in front of us too. He took quite a good hit there.
Yes, he did.
Kudos to him getting up, sticking with it. It's like welcome to the NFL. I was thinking.
Yeah,
that was definitely his welcome to the NFL hit.
Kincaid's
which made me not feel as bad about the Devontae Adams thing, because I felt it was a little late.
Well, we were sitting next to some people, and they were like, "I can't believe they threw the flag on Taylor Rapp on that Devontae Adams hit," and I was like, "Hold on a minute." I was like, "We were all just begging for that same exact flag to be thrown when Kincaid got hit." I was like, "We didn't get it." I was like, "So we cannot complain that they got the flag right this time." I was like, "As much as it sucks, it's the right."
Get it wrong twice. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, so we're almost done with this show. We do have to do this this bet that we all lost and do the pie in the face. However, really quick before we get to there, Mike, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to say 23. Let's do 23-10. Shut them down. One touchdown, one field goal.
Okay.
23-10 Bills.
All right.
What you got?
I'm going to go 24-13, and I've got a dog over here who's 120 pounds trying to get my lap. Sorry.
Well, maybe if you didn't have a bowl of whipped cream next to him for the last hour.
Yeah.
Hey, well, that's already been disposed of. My wife is standing right here waiing to smash this in my face.
I know. And Sarah's over here taking selfies with the pie, getting ready.
Hi, Jamie. 31-17 Buffalo. And I don't think it's as close. I don't think it's as close.
All right. Well, let's get this over with. None of us picked the right.
It is pie time.
The touchdown. All right, the jersey got to come off. Hold on.
You know what the worst part about this is? I'm a loser, and my wife is out of town, and I have to pie myself.
Yeah, that's a sad man right there, Casey pieing himself.
It's very depressing.
The dog is eating whipped cream, guys. All right. All right, ready?
Hold on.
That's not fair. You're getting less pie because
this is the best day ever.
All right, on the count of three, guys.
All right.
One, two, three.
Three.
Oh, you could at least pulled it away. You just left it stuck to my face.
Mike, you didn't take your headset off.
No, I didn't. Well, we got it here.
Not my nose.
Talk.
I got
your headset off.
I got some cleanup to do.
Yep.
Me too. All right.
I feel like Miss Doubtfire. Hello.
All right, we're gonna get on out of here, guys. We'll see you everybody next week. Hope for a great game, another Bills win, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. This whipped cream's really good.